Welcome back to another image, this time 64 gigabyte Darish Zone, who actually released a 64 gigabyte not too long ago, a little bit less than a month ago. And this image has been out for a week or so now, maybe more. And I finally got my hands on it, been playing around with it, having fun. And according to him, there's not a lot of changes on this one, but there is quite a few little things. So I mean, if you watch this channel often, I think everyone's just kind of looking at what are people doing differently, what are some updates, what are some little fixes maybe to do, because that journey for that perfect image, or that perfect image for yourself. And so this is the VIP Darish Zone 64 gigabyte for the Raspberry Pi 3B and B+. This is running the stretch, so you should have no issue there. And this is for you Amiga and Commodore 64 lovers, as well as all your console favorites are going to be on here as well. So let's go and jump right in. So the first thing you're going to notice is a nice clean theme. Looks really good. All the artwork is here. It's really fast. It's not too laggy here. A lot of great artwork, things like that. As far as the Commodore 64 and Amiga, I tried to answer questions, from the last build, and one of the questions on the last one was, I'm having issues with Amiga games though, and I cannot load them, especially the CD32 games won't load. And in order to do that, you need a AGA option activated on your Amiiberry menu. Okay, so here we are on Amiga CD. Let's go ahead and try Alien Breed Tower Assault. I'm now launching that. Okay, so I'm going to hit select and X. Okay, so under chipset, you want to go ahead and go over to AGA. I'm actually doing this all with my controller. I use my analog stick. And then let's go ahead and reset. There's landmines. Lizard. These thrusters are still on, huh? This cause damage. Alright, and start select gets you out. Another thing that was added was dafne. So let's head over to dafne. All right, one should be player one start.
You become a valiant knight on a quest to rescue the
All right, we're doing coins. Player one start. Arrow keys are direction. Button one is control. Button two is left alt. Button three is left shift. Okay, here we go. I want to do that. So a couple other nice things about this image. Ports, you got some Doom games pre-installed for you, and Cave Story. Fun games for sure. And then under Raspberry Pi setup, you have EasyHack's Toolkit. You can toggle on and off the background music. He has over 120 songs on the background music. You have EasyHack's Toolkit, so you can hook up a hard drive, fix a lot of your issues. If you want to add a light gun, that's all ready for you to do as well. And screensavers, I can hit select right now. And as you see, you got these HD screensavers. And you can cycle through them by just pressing select. Or they also will just do it on their own as well. So pretty cool. I mean, I think they're cool. A lot of other images do this. What they do is they just use your video snaps and they randomly shuffle through it. And a lot of that can be set up just through your start menu here. Screensaver settings right there. So theme, we're on Retro Show. It also says free play and art book on it if you want to change that. It is not overclocked, but you can overclock if you like. And it does have a lot of collections on here as well that we're going to see in just a moment. And let's just go ahead and go through this one, see what we got here. I like to start at like a starting point here. There we go, all games. So 21,394. Now this is a ton of games. The reason for this is a lot of these games like Amiga, Commodore 64 do not require a lot of space. So you're not going to see like 200 PlayStation games on something like this, but that's not why you're probably checking this out. You like the retro gaming. So custom collections, look at all these different collections you got. Metal Slug, you name the game, you got it there. You even got the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, including Star Fox 2. And moving along to all games, 2,100, 394. Last played, 189. Some good games right there. Starting off, in Amiga, this does not include the Amiga CD. So 806 Amiga-only games. And somebody asked in a comment, is it missing any Amiga artwork? And I'd say this one is definitely better than a lot of the other ones I've seen. I mean, look, we haven't missed a single piece of artwork yet. Not to say that there's not going to be a... Yeah, there you go. So, Cyber Games, no screenshot. But at least it has the default. It's not just blank. So that's looking really good. AMSTRAD CPC 358. Arcade, 1,570 arcade games. Just out of curiosity, I want to just see, forget if this has bezels or not. You do have a loading screen. All right, so it does have a bezel. It looks like it's just a default bezel. You could install the bezel project and then get this to be a full bezel, especially on the vertical games. But it looks like it's a default bezel for most of the arcade games. Okay. And then I want to check out the bezels for the portables as well, but we'll get through Atari 2600, 448, 7800, 77. I believe he used to have Atari ST, but he removed it. He said it was just too much work and people had issues with it. Atari Lynx 85. You can always add your own. Commodore 64, 5,200 games. So you can see here, this is where a lot of those 20,000 games are. So Vision 188. Dafne, we got 6 on here, but it's actually 3. These ROMs are the actual files, which is just these 3 games here. So it's 3 Dafne games. You can always add your own games as well. Family Computer System 238, Game & Watch 45, Game Gear 386. Let's just launch a Game Gear game really quick to see if there's a bezel. So this is gonna have this is a retro for a 64 gigabyte. This is definitely a retro image, which is nice. You know, it goes pretty far back. It includes those Commodore 64, Dafne, Amiga. Okay, cool. So he does have the bezels for the portables. Those are a really fun way to play those games. The Game Boy, the Game Gear, Game Boy Advanced, etc. Game Boy 621, Game Boy Advance 641, Game Boy Color 589, and Television 150, MAME 1456. He said he deleted some non-libretro games that weren't working, and that messes with your controls, things like that. They don't run as good, so some of those games have been filtered out. Sega Master System 328, Mega Drive 1024, and you can change this to Genesis. I believe it's even in the Easy Hacks toolkit. If not, there's a script for it. MSX 6764, Nintendo 64, only 4. Okay, so not many on the 64. Neo Geo 158. That's pretty much all of them. Nintendo 1465. So there is a folder here for hacks. And looking at the portables as well, I think you're going to have like Game Boy Advanced or Game Boy hacks. Maybe. Okay, so no hacks on the portables. But probably on Mega Drive. Yep, hacks and unlicensed. All right, moving along, Nintendo. We do have the hack games as well. 1465, Neo Geo Pocket 9, Pocket Color 76, PC Engine 220. And this image does not have video snaps. That's how it's able to produce so many games, which from my experience, a lot of people like that. So one PSP game, because it's only 64 gigabyte. On a 128, sure. So here's your, somebody was upset that the PlayStation image, the 256 didn't have the McRae Rally or one of those racing games on it, but well, there you go. So some nice PlayStation games, some fighters. Oh, going back, Wipeout, World Soccer. So 54, it's pretty good.
3, 2, 1, go!
Back to Retropie setup. You got all your stuff you need in here. There you go. Flip, Sega Genesis, and Mega Drive. You just click that button. Sega Genesis 32X, 36. Sega CD, these 10 games. So no Terminator. You might want to add Terminator if you guys like that game. Sonic CD, though, pretty good game. SG 1086, Super Nintendo 1053, because you have this whole directory of hack games here. You're going to see a lot of Super Mario World. Yeah, not too many, though. Like a nice collection. Sometimes people just throw all the hacks on there. So nice and tight. Vectrex 24, Video Pack 79, Virtual Boy 27, WonderSwan 112, WonderSwan Color 92, Sharp 6800. So again, 1,300 games here. This thing is, you know, it inflates that total number of games. And then ZX Spectrum, again, 1,500, inflates that thing of games. But, you know, he's doing a really good job of, you know, not a lot of duplicates. And there was a lot of titles for those systems. So now we have collections. So these are going to be all sorts of systems. And the cool thing about Retropie is it does label what system it is in the brackets there. So, for example, Alien vs. Predator Arcade Edition versus the Atari Lynx Edition. Very different games. Versus the SNES Edition. So, Amiga CD, you get 37 of these games. I showed you some of that play in the video. So you can check that out. It does work. This is a quick little fix you want to do there. Rise of the Robots. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Look at that box art. Nice. All right. Batman collections of all the Batman games, all the Castlevania games, CPS 1, 2, and 3, Donkey Kong games. Plenty of those. All right. Doom. You got all the Doom games, including the ports. Double Dragon games, Exploding Fist games, FIFA, fighting games in general, Fatal Furies, Fists, International Karate, King of Fighters. Final Fantasy games, so those of you that like Final Fantasy. Gods games, International Karate, Indiana Jones, King of Fighters, Mario, Marvel, Metroid, Mortal Kombat, Pac-Man. Okay, PC Engine CD, you got one game, Dracula X. Prince of Persia collection, puzzle games, Rambo games, RoboCop. Super Famicom 139. Shoot 'em ups, Sonic the Hedgehog collection, Space Invaders, sports games, Star Wars games, strategy genre, battle chess, mostly chess it looks like, Populous. Street Fighter games, super graphics, you got 5, pretty typical 5. The Terminator, you got a lot of Terminator 2. Oh, you got 1, 3. The Last Ninja games, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So you got all the games for all the different systems, including arcade. Tomb Raider games, Tron games, Turrican, The Legend of Zelda, and then you got the custom collections, which is some of those same collections you saw before. Actually, I guess not. Well, I thought we had a Fatal Fury, but for example, there's a Shinobi collection here where there's not in the main menu over there. And you can go over here and hide a lot of this. So for example, I can go ahead and uncheck all these collections that maybe I don't want. Waiting. and then go back, back. And then it should just refresh, and now I'm only going to have 6 collections plus all of my systems. So really easy to do if you do want to clean up the menu. Right now it was kind of I mean, it's cool. It had everything, but you can make it a little cleaner. As far as while this is loading, the actual size of this image is 59.4 gigabytes. And that's 63,864,570,000 bytes, in case you're wondering about your SD card or not. But you're going to notice here I can scroll through these systems now a lot faster. They're all systems now, no collections, because I removed all the collections. So it's that easy to do. You don't even have to reboot. You see that? I still have the custom collection thing here with the SNES and NES Classic inside, but other than that, I don't. So really easy to edit all of that. Really easy to do. So what was updated on this? You know, a couple fixes with the libretto. He added 800 more Amiga games. He added the Dafne screensavers. I showed you guys that. The custom theme, custom new intro. You saw that in the beginning of the video. And then some more background music and bezels were added. So there you have it. Darish Zone. Really good stuff. I mean, I really like it. If there's someone who asks me, you know, about Commodore 64 Amiga, this would definitely be an image I would point to. It works for all the latest Raspberry Pi 3s out there on the market. And it's really well made. It has everything. I really like these little screensavers here if you hit select. Overall, the image is good. It's clean. It works. So I got to give this one an A. Where I think some people might not like it is if you're looking for, you know, a larger Nintendo 64 set, you know, a larger Sega CD set. This is more for those retro gamers. So it's purpose-built. It's good for what it is. For all those reasons, got to give it an A. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.